Comic-Con panel. My name is Jake Francis. I'm the Executive Director of Original Series for Disney Television Animation, and first of all, I wanted to thank you guys for your continued support of Phineas and Ferb. The love and support you show is great. The guys really appreciate it. You guys are truly the best fans on the planet. That's real. Thank you. So the guys are going to come out in a moment, but before we start, I wanted to share a couple of sneak peeks of two shows that we're going to be premiering on Disney XD early next year. The first is called Star versus the Forces of Evil. It's created by the wonderful and brilliant Darren Nevsey. And our second show is called Pen Zero, Part-Time Hero. And that's created by the incredibly talented duo of Jared Bush and Sam Levine. And Sam is somewhere, there we go. So please enjoy these clips. And again, thank you guys for all the Phineas and Ferb love and support. Thank you.
We'd like to introduce our moderator today. He's somebody that you may know from Star Trek The Next Generation. He played crewman number 2. He said, their shields are down, sir.
That's their fun role. You might know him from, like, Drew Carey or the incredible Rex Kwon-Do from Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, we've had this conversation before, but I'm still going with crewman number 2.
Lawrence from Office Space.
Okay, he was good at that, but the shields are down, sir. It was a brilliant piece of acting.
Ladies and gentlemen, crewman number 2 from Star Trek Next Generation.
Favorite television show, bar none. Phineas and Ferb is on our television 24/7. The other night, actually, we had to turn off the television, which was rare. And my daughter broke into tears because we hadn't watched any Phineas and Ferb. She was like, "I keep saying me." I was, "Really? That? It's that?" And she goes, "Yeah, I'm there." I was like, "Okay, all right, that's where we are now." Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Doof. And practically all the incidental characters, Dan Povenmire. Major Monogram and all the other incidental characters. My good friend Swampy Marsh. We emailed about the shirts, just, you know.
We got the memo.
Yeah, we got the memo. And of course, Phineas. Vincent, get on up here. As Candace. Who else? But Alyson Stoner. Come on now. That was fun. That's Isabella. I know. Somebody's not sorry. Hey, I do watch the show. I do know the show. All right. Olivia, before I screw anything else up, why don't you go on? Fantastic voice that she has so many great songs. And of course, my good friend D. Bradley Baker playing. Notice the show. It's tonight, the Star Wars.
Tonight on Disney Channel, 9 o'clock, the Star Wars episode, which has been about a year and a half in the making. And
They're long in process.
Absolutely thrilled.
No. So how did it you guys heard of Star Wars? I don't know if you've heard of that before, but little movie. How did it come to you guys? Like, Did they approach you, or did you approach them?
Well, actually, it's been a long time plan of mine. Back in 1977, I saw the original Star Wars movie, and I started having this Machiavellian plan where I would get better at drawing and eventually work my way into animation, work my way up through the system, meet Swampy. We would create a show together, but not sell it for 13 years because it had to be on the air when Disney inevitably would buy Star Wars, and we'd be allowed to do it special.
I just admire Dan's long-term planning skills.
Yeah, people in high school thought I was crazy. My guidance counselor said that's a really bad plan. But
Under Dan's picture,
this is awesome.
Under Dan's picture, it says most likely to do a spoof of Star Wars. I actually watched. I've watched it, and it is fantastic. And one of the things I really loved about it was like the Marvel episode. It's done with respect and love. I said spoof, but it's not actually a spoof. It's done by true fans, I would say.
Yeah, we Swampy and I were both huge fans of the original series in the 70s. I saw Star Wars 19 times. I saw Star Wars 19 times in one summer. So we were very well versed in the lore. And what we decided to do was create a show with a crossover where it wasn't our characters as their characters or us making fun of their characters. It was really Star Wars was sitting by itself. We were going to leave it alone, and our characters were doing a story parallel and intersecting to theirs.
It's a lot like a Tom Stoppard play called Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are Dead. We always said that kids love Tom Stoppard.
That's cool. That's totally cool. And were you able to, because the voices were incredibly similar, were you able to get Mark and...
We were not able to get any of the original people because they're in London shooting episode 7. Plus, they're all 30 years older, so they may not sound like themselves young, but we got some people who are just amazing sound-alikes for the different characters, especially Han Solo, Ross Marquand. When we were recording it, it sounded like we had Harrison Ford in the booth.
I really wanted to call Harrison's friends and relatives. He's that close, we could have gotten Harrison in a whole lot of trouble.
Yeah. So what we did was we just tried to any scene that existed in Star Wars, we tried to reproduce it as absolutely faithfully as we could in animation.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes on, like in the hallways. You know, the little conversations that the guys would have together that created that reality. There's some really funny jokes in that. Now, Dee, you were in the Clone Wars as almost everyone.
Yes, sir.
He was every clone in the Clone Wars.
Is this microphone?
There we go.
We're going to share this microphone. Yes, yeah, in the Clone Wars. So it's very exciting for me, being a longtime Star Wars fan. Man, I watched that movie so much, and to be as part of that franchise and doing some creature sounds in this one as well, as doing some Perry in there as well.
So did you do Chewbacca? I was wondering.
Yeah, I'm some Chewbacca in there, and it's
Can you give us the Flavor Flav of it?
that kind of stuff. Thank you.
He's every creature in it, though. You're also the Ronto, right?
Yeah, the sand people. There's various creatures in there. Yeah.
One of the things I liked, do you remember when they're in the thing where they're getting crushed and they're in the garbage and there's that guy that comes up and like, you know, sucks his head around? And you always wonder, like, what's it like under there? They actually show that.
We find out that the Dianoga, which is that character.
We now know the names for all these characters.
Yes. Is Doofenshmirtz's pet.
He comes and visits him. You know,
It's like, you know, you can leave a guy Dianoga in the garbage, but you can't make him think.
Now, I had read the fellow who voices Han Solo, who is strikingly dead on.
Yeah.
He is, his last name Marquand. He is related.
He's no related.
He's no relation.
He's no relation.
Oh, okay. Then, wow, the internet is wrong. I've never heard that. I'm shattered now.
Or at least he denied it when I asked him.
Maybe a family thing that we don't know about.
So, should we take a peek?
Yeah. This one is when Phineas and Ferb meet Isabella in the cantina because she's a pilot in her service.
We got some,
This is good for you shippers.
Olivia Olsen singing in this.
This has been our one chance to pit Phineas and Ferb against each other, because Ferb gets hit by Doofenshmirtz's Siphonator Ray, and makes everything much more evil. And so we get a little bit of conflict between the guys for the first time. Play that.
Roll 'em!
Modifications. We gotta do modifications. I love that. That's totally awesome.
Oh, we should say that the songs from the episode are available on iTunes. So if you'd like to get a song, you can order them immediately.
Yeah.
And there's Phineas and Ferb Star Wars t-shirts at Walmart and Children's Place already. So if you want to wear the colors.
So Olivia, did you have to like vamp for that thing? I mean, did they play music for you? And then like, cause you're in the background, the timing of that is so perfect.
That was really fun. We actually got together and sort of collaborated in writing that song with my father too. So we sort of just wanted to do it like a very sultry, sort of cute little thing. And
We were figuring out where how long do you have to vamp here for this many lines?
Yeah, it was a lot of me just going, solo, solo, solo.
Beautiful voice. I remember the first time I heard you you did Busted, right? You did,
Yes.
And just, you have an amazing voice. But I love actually that the music for the solo thing was actually good music, because in the movie, they're playing and even when I was a kid and saw the movie, I was like, seriously? That's good.
The cantina band is much better in the Phineas and Ferb version.
Right, yeah. There's some improvements. I know I'm treading on sacred ground, but there are some improvements. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know, I think even the Modal Notes, which is the band, probably thought, really, that's what you chose? Because we have better stuff in our repertoire.
They shot a bunch of different stuff, so. There have been some very, one of the things I love about Phineas and Ferb is like that Uber sent like a show that they're kind of making a show that they sort of, Dr. Doof particularly like makes reference to like that he's monologuing. That's not even a monologue, he says to the Canadian guy.
That's not even a monologue, that's just
a backstory.
Yeah.
It's not even a backstory, yeah.
That's just an evil monologue. It's not a backstory, it doesn't inform who you are.
But there have been some very strange episodes, and what do you think is the weirdest episode? What do you?
Well, we have a weirder episode than any of them coming out. We have David Lindelof from Lost and
little show called Lost. I don't know if you
wrote the new Star Trek. He came in for a tour of the studio with his kid, and they asked me a question. They asked, what is Peter the Panda's regular nemesis? Who is that? Because he obviously is up in Seattle thwarting somebody, and we never get to meet that. I said,
What a great question.
yeah, that question deserves an episode. And
If you'd like to write it, we can pay you
almost nothing. And he said, I'll do it. And so we have an episode of Phineas and Ferb written by David Lindelof, creator of Lost. And it's called Lost in Danville. It's coming out later this, is it October? It's
probably written on this.
in fall, sometime in fall.
Did you get any of the Lost cast members on there? Or?
Maybe.
We have Terry O'Quinn, who played Locke, is in
We
it.
also have Rob Morrow and Jane
Kazmarek.
Kazmarek is in it.
Yeah, so it's a great episode coming up, and but the big thing for October is we're doing Night of the Living Pharmacists. So we're doing for years we've been trying to come up with a way of doing a Phineas and Ferb zombie story.
Sure.
It's going to be another one of our big hour-long specials, and we finally came up on a way because you can't shoot people in the head, you can't eat brains. There's a lot of things you can't do with zombies. So we have an episode where something that Doofenshmirtz is doing goes horribly wrong, and it turns his brother into him, but into this weird zombie-like character of him. And whenever he touches anyone, they turn into Doofenshmirtz. And whenever they touch anyone, they turn into wander the streets going,
accept me, and it has turned out really good. We only have the shortest little clip because we're still working on it. But the end of this, it becomes really sort of wonderfully funny and scary and has a big crescendo at the end. But this is a little section for when the boys first see what's happening. But we didn't have that.
I really wanted to improvise, but I like that.
It's very invasive, the body snatchers.
If I'd known that was happening, I could have just thrown, the lip sync.
We've got George Romero came out and did a little bit in this one for us, as well as Simon Pegg and Nick Frost.
George Romero created the modern zombie mythos and with Night of the Living Dead, and Simon Pegg and Nick Frost from Shaun of the Dead.
We forgot to mention Simon Pegg's also in the Star Wars episode. He plays C-3PO, as well as Canada's commanding officer, and we also have Jamie and Adam from Mythbusters who play our
Now, Vincent, you know a little something about zombies, right? Am I wrong about that?
That's a whole I feel as though I do know a little bit about zombies.
Who in this room watches Walking Dead? Did anybody see this kid on Walking Dead?
As most of you know, I play the role of Norman Reedus, playing the role of Daryl on that show. Yeah, no, I worked on it last year. It was a lot of fun.
Vincent told me he was going to be on The Walking Dead, and I said, "Oh, that's a great gig. What do you get to do?" He says, "I get to do everything you want to do on The Walking Dead. I get to be a human. I get to die. I get to come back as a zombie. I get to eat people, and then I get to die again."
Yeah. That was rare.
Norman Reedus shoots me in the head with an arrow.
Right in the head. Yeah.
I remember the first time I was shot in the head. It's very exciting.
It's a dream come true. It's a dream come true.
It's a weird thing we do for a living, I think. It's whatever.
I want to get shot in the head.
Does anybody remember the episode in the second dimension? So we love that episode in my house. Are we going back to the second dimension?
We have a special coming up that all takes place entirely in the second dimension after the movie.
Return to the back of the second dimension.
Yeah. What?
Return to the back to the second dimension, or what was the title of that?
It's called Tales from the Resistance, and it's us going back and seeing what happened to everybody after the fall of Doofenshmirtz. And we find out some interesting things about Doofenshmirtz and his ex-wife Charlene.
And my part didn't get cut out this time.
And her part didn't get cut out this time. For those of you who got the DVD, there's an extra scene that we put in with Olivia as Vanessa that was in the original. We loved the scene, but we were just cutting down for time, so we put it back in. But she plays a larger part in this.
So one of the recurring things, obviously, you guys know, and there's a whole subgroup. I don't know, are there shippers here? Are there any shippers? Are there? Here we go. Okay.
Who's a big fan? Who wants to see Isabella and Phineas get together?
Up there,
Then you're a shipper.
right? So, Alyson, is it ever going to happen?
You want me to answer that question the first time I talked today?
I know, it's a big question.
Just ever see we'll answer that question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Just let them know we will answer that question.
We will answer that question.
Okay, well, the answer one way or another, that's very exciting.
We have an episode coming up that I think we're shooting for Valentine's Day next year. That is called Act Your Age, and it takes place. The entire thing takes place 10 years in the future, when the boys are in high school. And when we did this, I remembered that Comic-Con 3 or 4 years ago. In the autograph line, people give me fan art periodically, and somebody gave me this wonderful piece of art of Phineas and Ferb as teenagers. And then I was looking through DeviantArt online for Phineas fan art,
Probably when he should have been working.
It sent me a link, and there was all this great Phineas fan art, and I'm just trolling through it. And I keep seeing these characters that look like that drawing that's up in my office, actually. I have it up in my office.
And I was like, oh, I wonder if this is that same girl who gave me this drawing. And I went through it. I found that picture that she had given me. She had scanned it in and put it in there first. And I just fell in love with these teenage Phineas and Ferb. This was before we were even thinking of doing a teenage Phineas and Ferb. And showed it to Swampy, and we were all big fans of this girl's art. And so when we decided to do teenage years for the boys, we said, you know, whatever we would do, I would just want to try to make it look like this girl's art. And I didn't feel like that was fair to her after she had done all this great stuff. So let's see if we can find her and see if we can hire her. Yeah.
When somebody sends an email to you and says the creators of Phineas and Ferb are trying to get a hold of you, there's a lot of, yeah, right. Which one of my friends is this really?
The only way I could get in touch with her was like to get a DeviantArt account and send her a message, hope that she checks her messages on DeviantArt. And I sent her a couple messages, and I tried to be as non-creepy as possible. I gave her an actual Disney number to call somebody else entirely. And then one of her friends wrote me a letter on DeviantArt and said, Ashley does not believe that you are really him. If you are really him, could you tweet to her and then she'll know it's really you? My Twitter account is verified. And so I said, okay, so I went and I took a picture of the picture she had given me and I tweeted it and said, Kickster Ash, please contact me. I am trying to hire you, or something like that.
There they are.
This is her art up here. And she saw the tweet and went, oh my gosh, he's really trying to do this. So she came down to the studio, we talked about the show, she went back home, we gave her 2 weeks of freelance work, and she designed all the teenage characters in the show. And her name is Ashley Simpson, right over here. She's now graduating from our art school.
Congratulations.
What a great story. That is how you should do it. You should be doing the things that you love to do, putting it out there into the world, and seeing if it catches like that. That's a marvelous story. I think that's really inspirational. That is terrific. That is what you should do.
I'd love to hear what Isabella and Phineas sound like in the future, though, because
it's a little bit lower.
Isabella has such a little girl voice. I mean, it's so incredibly distinctive. Can you give us a flavor of what?
We recorded that so long ago. I have to remember.
Are you doing it now? Is that what you're doing?
It was a hard thing when we were recording it because we wanted her to still sound like Isabella, but sound like a slightly older Isabella. And it's in a weird place in your register, and I think we really did it well. I'm afraid I think that in the clip we have that Isabella's not in it. This I believe is where
maybe Candace is.
So you'll. The idea of the show is it's 10 years from now. The kids are it's the summer after their senior year in high school. And what we find out is that Phineas and Isabella never got together in high school. But Phineas finds out, because by the time Phineas was sort of interested in girls and started looking at her that way, she had been beating her head against a wall for so long that she'd given up.
Moved on. Figured, wasn't good.
Yeah. So this is where Phineas finds out that there might be a chance.
Buford's styling. My man Buford is styling. He's got it put together. Look there. I like it. Wow.
He's going to film school.
Everybody else, good luck with that. So is Vanessa ever going to join Doof?
I don't know that we know that one one way or the other. She has little tendencies that way, but I think that that she's actually making him less evil rather than her
I think
making.
she plays for the good guys.
Yeah, I think she makes him less evil rather than him making her more evil.
She sticks up for her dad a lot, which I like, even though he's evil. She's still like, you know, it's what he does, and I love him.
Exactly. She's just embarrassed by it, right?
Yeah, I don't know why I always play characters with evil dads, but I guess I'm typecast. I don't know.
I think it's because your dad's evil.
Right, yeah.
He is evil genius.
He's been writing with us for probably 20 years. I'm pretty sure he's evil.
So is Doof ever going to join to the light side, as we said?
We'll see. He may start reforming himself a little bit in the next year or so. We'll see. He's certainly not having any success in evil at this point. It's his passion, but it's not something he's very good at. So we'll see what happens.
I love when we go to the other dimension, though, and find that the Doof on the other side in the alternate reality is actually really successful.
Yes.
Does an incredibly good job, and it's questioning how it doesn't work out for you. Pretty much the same story. So Dee,
It all comes down to that choo-choo train, I think.
you know there's a backstory in there. So Dee, where did you come up with the gurgle, the sound that you make? Can you give it to us?
The gurgle was a simple event. They just showed me a picture of this little critter, and I asked them, well, does he have conversations? Does he talk? What kind of moments does he have? And they just said, no, he just makes one little sound. Really, there's not a variation. There's not like, the happy version, the sad, or the curious. Like, no, just a single sound. Okay. All right. So here's platypus. All right. So what does that do? Platypus. They don't make a lot of sounds, do they? All right. So I'm going to make something up. So let's see. There's duck. There's like otter-like mammal. There's bird. That's going to be it's going to be one of those, and I think I tried like 3 different things like that. And
You gave me like 20 different sounds, and I just picked one.
Yeah, and that was later. You just said, that's fine. One of those will do. We'll see you. And they just picked it.
What I love is that an entire generation thinks that they sound like that.
Yes, people are similar.
There's a bunch of people in Australia that are really pissed off at it. Because their whole job now at the zoo is to go, nah, they don't sound like that. They do a lot.
Well, they don't have the hats. Everybody's disappointed when they go to the zoo now in Australia.
Why are the platypuses not turquoise? What happened?
Wrong with it. Sick.
That was actually one of the only complaints I ever had from somebody who talked to me about the show once. Was they were like, "You're on Phineas and Ferb, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did the voice of Phineas. Do you like the show?" And they're like, "No, I really don't. I don't understand why the platypus is wearing the hat." And I was like, "That's the thing. That's the one thing that is."
That's the thing that bumps them.
That's the one unrealistic element of these 2 kids. Is their platypus, their pet platypus wears a hat.
That's funny.
Can't please everyone.
Not even the secret agent, just the hat. But I think he is a secret agent, semi-aquatic mammal.
No, I'm okay with that.
I can't fathom that this secret agent would have to wear a fedora.
But see, I've got that problem with Transformers. It's like, why does the robot who can fly and can punch through a building need a sword? And it really bothers me that they have that on the billboard, that he has a sword. I don't think that robot creature needs that sword. Why do I need to see this?
I wonder if it's the specific hat, if it would be better for him if it was like a beret.
Yeah. Baseball cap.
That makes sense.
There you go. Now you're talking.
They did use, of course.
Ladies and gentlemen, Grunkle Stan is in the audience.
You guys had some amazing guest stars over there, sorry.
Any of the Phineas and Ferb crew that are in the audience, if you guys would stand up right now.
There you go, shout out. Did he do a scratch track?
we had, he did a scratch track for us that was so good, but it was after we had already cast somebody. So we went and recorded that person and listened to them both together, and we just felt like Eddie's sounded more like James Earl Jones. They both sort of sounded like Darth Vader, but Eddie really sounded like the old movie.
Yeah.
And so I called him. He moved back to Florida. I got to call him and say, "Guess what? You're a Darth Vader. We're going to use you."
Now, I'm curious, when you got him doing that performance then, did you just do this, figure out your own settings for the resonance and the sound of Vader? You didn't because I know you can call Lucas.
I don't know.
And they have a specific setting for Grievous.
It sounds so specific that our editor may have had some settings from Lucas.
We don't know what our editor does when we're not there.
Yeah. It's a mystical thing.
We like it to be mysterious.
He loves the cake.
I guess my question is, were the sounds, because the sound design was kind of invented in a way with the original Star Wars. And my question in watching the show, because it felt very authentic, was did you consult, now that Disney and Lucas are together, did you consult at all with them as far as the sounds or the modification of sounds and the creating of these sounds?
Well, they gave us a lot of sound effects.
Oh, okay.
They gave us a sound effects library that we could use, and we used a lot of music from John Williams. Whenever it's a scene from the original movie, we used that music for it.
Oh, okay.
So they were
And
very
sadly,
helpful.
our composer had to match John Williams' music for the fill-in bits. And when we told him that, you can see the look on his face.
So you guys have had, over the years, a lot of great guest stars. You got any good guest stars coming up for us? No.
We shot our wad. We had Dietrich Bader on a couple of times.
They can go up from there, but anybody below that?
Irving's older brother, what's his name? Albert, there you go.
Thank you.
I'm stumping myself on my own show. It's played by the lovely Dietrich Bader.
But do you have any special ones coming up for us this year that you can think of?
Rob Morrow and Simon Pegg and Nick Frost coming back. Those are the biggies right now. We're going to forget somebody, and our PR people are going to hate us. As we walk off stage, they're going to go, "What is wrong with you?"
Yes. We just had Goldie Hawn. I think she finally aired. She was lovely to work with. Our problem is that we don't always know what has aired because we work so far ahead. So sometimes they'll ask and we'll go, "I don't know if I can say that, or if it's already been on the air." So, but it's been great. It's been a whole bunch of people who suddenly just wanted to do the show.
Right, their kids have to play the show. It is a fantastic show. Is the summer gonna end? Or are you gonna have a last episode where they go to school, or?
There's not any immediate plans for that, but we're not ruling it out.
The last thing we want to do is draw desks.
Yes.
That's kept us from ever taking Phineas and Ferb. There are so many desks in every classroom, and it's just mind-numbingly difficult to draw. We're not going to do it.
Right.
That's why we said it.
So I think we're going to open it up to questions now. If anybody has any questions for anyone on the panel.
The microphone right over here.
Or literally anyone. Let's see here.
No pushing, no panic.
Make a short, quick, no follow-up question, please.
It makes it look like some weird religious ceremony.
Hi.
Okay, first of all, I love the show, and it's gotten me way back into animation, and that's making me really happy, so thank you. But my question is, and you've done an episode about it with the caveman episode, that some of the episodes are really formulatic, but they still are also different, and what's your process in making sure that you tell all these exciting new stories, even though, I mean, it's a kid show, it has certain repetitive elements?
Right. First season, that sort of was made it easier to write because she's saying that we have a very specific formula for the episode, but we still try to make them as different as possible. First season really helped us to know where we were going at the end of every episode. We had to get it back to zero. We had to erase what Phineas and Ferb did and not get them caught. And then second and third season, it started becoming more and more challenging to tell a really interesting story with that, and still realize, oh, we have to get this back to 0 by the end of 11 minutes. But that's sort of the fun thing.
One of the things that we have is literally one of the best crews ever. And it's one of the most collaborative environments I've ever worked in. And everybody gets to participate in bringing ideas. We've done stuff with the characters that Dan and I never thought of doing.
Yeah.
And it was, much of the stuff that you love, these great little quirky things and the turns the characters have taken were brought by the crew and nothing to do with us. And it's been kind of joyous watching other people figure out new things to do with the characters that we go, oh, we can, oh, wait a minute, that's really good. So thanks to the crew.
Thank you.
Hello?
Hello.
I tell you, by the way, just want to let you know that. I'm a big fan of Dr. Difference, but like this is for you, Dan. How did you create it? Like, was it like an uncle, or was it just some dude off the street?
Well, it was literally, I was drawing that first scene when Doofenshmirtz says, Mary the Lad was coming, unexpected, surprise! And by unexpected, of course, I mean completely expected! And it was just, that was the voice I used to pitch it. Now, I found out years later when it went on the air, my sisters say that's just the voice that I always used when we were little kids, and I would be the bad guy when we were playing. So for them, it just sounds like I'm talking in the other room. So apparently that's where it from. It just really came out of the drawing and just like picking a voice to picture.
Thank you.
Did you ever consider casting anybody as Dr. Doop, or was it always going to be you?
I know Disney considered casting.
We actually had auditions for people to do our parts.
Yeah,
and then at the end, we came down to 3 or 4 finalists, and Disney said, which ones do you like? And we went, well,
Dan and Swampy.
Yeah, is that a trick question?
You got into the Dick Cheney where you searched around for vice president.
Well, what it really came down to, I mean, nobody really disliked. I did the voice in the pilot, and nobody had a problem with it. It's sort of part of the process. We just want to see what else is out there, and it really came down to, well, since we're so heavy involved in the writing, we knew that we were going to know what that read should be, and anybody else we hired would be just trying to copy our read.
You'd have a lot of splaining to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Shorthand.
How about this young kid?
Well, there he is.
Is Buford ever going to stop being a bully?
I love your costume. Thank you for that.
Very
Buford, how we explain Buford is that he's not really a bully because he's not really mean to Bulgy. They're actually sort of best friends. But they've sort of just assumed that that's their role because he's the big tough guy and he's the skinny, smarter guy.
He's a kid who's trying to live up to the reputation that he created for himself, and he's really not very good at it.
So we try to stay away from any real bullying that he does. Most we get is a wedgie. Maybe Bulgy enjoys that.
And let's face it, Belgian, he's kind of asking for it. I'm just kidding. No, bullying is wrong.
It's nice when you get to see the Actor Age episode, you'll kind of see where their relationship has gone.
Oh, cool.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Hi guys, Olivia. I just want to say I'm a huge fan of yours, especially Marceline. This is kind of a toughie. Bear with me, please. You have a few female characters on the show, and they all seem to be defined by their attachment to their romantic interest. With so many young girls watching the show, do you think you would ever feel a moral obligation to move away from that?
Well, I think Isabella does just a fine job as the leader of Fireside Girls, but that's just me.
I don't actually think that they're defined by those, but those are characteristics that they have, and we get a lot of humor from it. We make sure that Isabella was a leader and a capable character in and of her own rank. But that's her crush on Phineas is just a facet of it. And I believe that it's the same with Candace. She's a strong, you know, like her main defining thing is that she wants fairness. She wants her brothers to get in trouble if she would get in trouble doing the same thing. That's, you know, her infatuation with Jeremy is completely sort of beside the point. And we also have Stacy, who's just this wonderful calming influence on Candace, and the Fireside Girls, who you know, only one of them I think has a crush on anybody, and it's sort of this bulgy thing that Ginger has.
Fireside Girls.
But we tried to make them very strong characters that like my daughters can look up to.
And I'm kind of glad that Mom is partially defined by her crush on Dad.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hi, I'm a huge fan of you guys. Rocco's Modern Life was my favorite Nicktoon. You guys are obviously masters of pop culture. You love it, obviously. You treat it with a lot of respect. My question is about the Daily Doof YouTube channel. Are you going to make more? And the real question is, how is that possible? Is that just a side project, or is that something that Disney actually endorses and helps you make?
It's a side project in that we aren't animating it in studio. We have an outside contractor, but it's our writers. It's me and the writers writing those. If I have a particular rant I want to do, like One Direction, you know, I think they made that because their hair all goes in one direction. Harry Styles has the hairiest styles. It's a very literal band name. So whenever I get something stuck in my craw, I would write down. But we also had our writers would all turn that stuff in, and we would just go record it while we were recording other stuff. And then, we had an outside house animating. Thank you.
Sounds like there's an earthquake going on next door.
My dad is a 4th grade teacher, and he put on a play that was heavily influenced by Phineas and Ferb. One of you went to it, I think.
Was it in Burbank?
Yeah.
Yes, that was me.
Yeah.
It was a little bizarre. It was Phineas and Ferb and Scooby-Doo.
How do you feel about people being inspired by your own work like that? What do you want them to be inspired to create?
We don't like that. Last thing we want Phineas and Ferb to do is inspire people to do that.
That's right.
Except for buy t-shirts.
Yeah. No, that's such a huge compliment. This little 4th grade class in Burbank put on this wonderful show. There was a Doofenshmirtz character. There was a Harry the Platypus character. And it was so fun to see them sort of take these characters, and that's what you hope people do when you create a show, is that they'll take these characters and make them their own, and they'll become part of it. Especially when you're doing a kids show, you want it to become part of their play and their imagination.
We see some of the coolest stuff. There's people that have had entire summer vacations, families that have done Phineas and Ferb themed summer vacations, and they'll post pictures of all the things they've done, like, you know, roller coasters. It's amazing stuff. I love reading the fan fiction that some of it. You know, and things like Ashley's drawings that you see. That's just really great stuff. And the number of people who told us, you know, they were inspired to do more drawing because of the show. But there is no better reward.
Thank you.
Since you guys made a Marvel superhero special, are you guys ever going to make a DC special?
The reason we're allowed to do the Marvel show and the Star Wars shows that Disney, the parent company Disney, also owns those properties, so we're allowed to do it.
If you could write them a letter, there's a few companies we would like them to buy.
We have a shopping list for them, and Disney would be on that, so, you know.
Welcome to the business, kid.
Hopefully.
Who would you like us to do? Which superheroes?
I was thinking Flash and Batman.
It would be awesome.
We would love to do one. Maybe you could do one.
Thank you.
There we go.
One question for Doofenshmirtz.
Yes.
You gonna pitch him?
It's a tricky thing because legally we're not allowed to take unsolicited submissions, so we're not allowed to read stuff that people send us as ideas.
Oh, but I get that, but it's just, could I like tell you?
I don't know that we have time right now. But
You know what you should do? Write it down and then make it a nice show, like Ice Capades.
Yes.
And then something like that. Put it all together and then come back with the whole show ready to go.
The hard part with not being able to hear this stuff is what we don't ever want to do is dampen people's spirit for writing and being creative.
That's right.
And we do have a lot of legal issues that keep us from viewing it. But we want to make sure that you got to keep doing this stuff. Have this imagination. Play with these characters. Think of these stories. We're storytellers, and that's how we got here, is by playing around, most of us initially, with other people's characters. That's where it starts. So please don't stop playing with them.
That's well said.
And as we've seen, if you're resourceful and persistent, there's a way to connect into the creative things that you think are cool. It may take a long time, and it may be kind of through an odd backdoor, kind of crooked pathway, but there are ways to do that with the right kind of persistence and enthusiasm. So don't
Can you
stop.
tell they're all dads? They're such dads right now. And I get it. I feel like they're talking to me. Thanks, Dad.
Dad show.
This has been a learning opportunity for you.
When I was 13 and I saw the first Star Wars, I was unsatisfied with the posters available, so I drew this pen-ink poster for myself, and then I reproduced and sold it at art shows and made enough money to buy a Super 8 camera and projector, and that's how I started making movies.
Oh, that's
Super 8 is, I can't get it, never mind. Look it up on the internet.
It's a thing called film that used to exist.
Your grandparents have one in a drawer somewhere.
First thing is, parent would look great in a fez. I have a picture.
There you go.
Yes. Second thing is, if Newport Smarts is, in Star Wars episode, is Norm going to be his stormtrooper?
Norm is Norm 3PO.
That's cool.
Because he's a robot to begin with.
And Dude's name is Darthenschmerz, which is awesome.
Yes, I'm Darthenschmerz.
They have that really funny bit. He's at a water fountain, but he's wearing the helmet. And the water doesn't get to his mouth. He's like, I can't figure out how to do it.
He has problems.
He's got problems. I think we're getting close to the last question.
So Ferb is Phineas' stepbrother, correct?
Phineas and Ferb are stepbrothers, that is
Are we
correct.
ever going to find out anything about Phineas' dad?
You should watch the Star Wars episode for that.
You know, we get that a lot, and to us the most important thing is that they have a functioning, happy, loving family. That's the important part of the story.
That would really sound like that.
Everything catch up this, or like go like throw a ball around the backyard, do like nuzzle my hair, other dad type things.
Okay, last question.
Are we gonna see any more of Meek?
We have no plans right now to do Meet Me in St. Louis, although we did tease that.
You guys
We'll see.
hear about how those came about. The end of the first Beep episode, that trailer, was something that our storyboard artist writers put in just for fun. We never intended on making it, and the episode became so popular that we went back to them and said, you know that funny little trailer with all those weird elements that you created? You get to make one that has all those elements. And they did.
So we may do Meet Me in St. Louis at some point, but it's not on our schedule yet.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, Phineas and Ferb.